I'm Layman, and I'm a content editor at Insurance Journal. Insurance defense professionals using AI right now.
There are a lot of AI tools available, and we're using them sort of, on a case-by-case basis, because the insurance industry, they're aware that AI is out there. They're aware that the plaintiffs' lawyers are using it, and they know that they have to catch up or they're going to be left behind. But it's a little scary, right? We're still trying to develop the right rules. We're trying to stay ethical about it, and we're trying to figure out how to wrap that into their billing practices. So there's a lot going on, but there's a lot of great tools out there that can help with summaries, that can help with strategy, that can help with looking for specific words and records and really cutting down on the lawyer time so that we can focus more on strategy. Tyson Mendes is taking a really cool approach, and we've got this new program that is supposed to be collaborative with the insurance industry. It's called Shaffer City, to identify nuclear verdicts long before they ever happen, just by using AI to review data from the file.
Wow, yeah, a lot of the things you talked about there, when I talked to Robert Tyson a little bit ago, he mentioned, how the plaintiffs bar is using AI in very similar ways. So it seems like, y'all are using it as a way to kind of keep up and to fight back against it.
We are definitely trying to keep up, and we are definitely trying to fight back on all these things. It's interesting because the way that the plaintiffs' practice works, it's just a different practice. They don't have the same contractual relationships that we have with like the insurance carrier or with the insureds. And so they've got a little bit more of an opportunity to be creative and go outside of the box. We're kind of operating within the insurance box sometimes, and we're working all the time with our carriers to push those boundaries, and they're letting us a little, so it's a lot of fun.
But for the viewers who are watching today, what's something that you would want them to know about containing those verdicts and how they can do it?
I mean, we're not going to contain every single one, okay? But the number one thing to remember, and this is for everybody, insurance defense lawyers, all the way, through to the claims professionals, to our experts, everybody should understand the number one driver of a nuclear verdict is juror anger. And so what we're doing from literally day one of getting the case is we are trying to identify the risk factors for increasing jury anger, and we're trying to mitigate those. And Tyson Mendes has developed a practice, we call it the APEX method, of trying to reduce jury anger throughout the phases of litigation. And it really just starts with being the most reasonable person in the room. We try to be polite. We try to be understanding of everybody's position. We understand that the plaintiffs have been through a hard time, and we use our core methods of giving a number early and often, accepting some responsibility, personalizing our corporate defendant, and then of course we have our specialized way of arguing our non-economic damages. And we just take that right up the pyramid to the top, being the nicest person in the room, being reasonable, just like being a person, right? We're not just these insurance defense robots, and trying to appeal to the jury and to the plaintiff in large part in that way, and hope that in that process we diffuse jury anger and reduce the chances of a nuclear verdict.
Yeah, it's just super interesting information from the folks who are in the trenches, really focusing on this. So I thank you again for sharing that with me.
Absolutely. We're doing it every day.
Yeah. I think for this last question, I just wanted to ask you, are there any emerging types of claims or lawsuits that you think risk managers should be aware of or should be keeping their eye on right now?
Yes, kind of. So, I think that we're mostly in the personal injury space, and so the number of ways a person can be injured, slip and falls and trucking accidents and things like that. We see the same kinds of claims, but what we are seeing is the sort of the way that plaintiffs' lawyers are trying to find new people to sue, right? Where, for instance, in the trucking industry, in Texas anyway, we are seeing a lot more broker liability claims. So they're trying to hold parties that are further and further away from the accident responsible. And that's put a lot of pressure on the defense lawyers to always consider risk transfer, and we're constantly looking at contracts and trying to understand relationships. It also creates a space for us to work really closely with our insureds to make sure that they are as protected as they think they are, because the indemnity provision in a contract isn't always quite as clear as you think that it is. I also think that what's going to be happening because of the tariffs and because of a lot of the immigration issues that are currently out in the world, I think that there's going to be some delays. I think that there's going to be some contracts that are missed, and I think that could affect the construction industry and certainly the trucking industry. And I think there's probably going to be some litigation from that, although I don't think we know exactly what that's going to look like right now.
The InsurTech Summit 2025, presented by Carrier Management. Join industry leaders as we explore overcoming legacy systems, integrating artificial intelligence, legal pitfalls, and insurer-insurtech collaboration. Hosted by Elizabeth Blossfield, Deputy Editor of Carrier Management, Andrea Wells, Vice President of Content at Insurance Journal, and Alan Layman, Content Editor of Carrier Management. Plus, don't miss our virtual trivia competition with prizes totaling $2,199. A special thank you to our key sponsor, Snowflake.
The Risky Future Summit 2025. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to sign up or apply to be a speaker for our Risky Future Summit 2025 before seats fill up.